What up, draft nerds? Welcome in. Right now, we're doing a little bit of a big board talk. Did my 1 through 10 last week. Today, we are going to do 11 through 20. We're going to count it down from 20 to 11. I'll tell you right now, not a lot of these folks have true first round grades, and grades are fluid right now. We don't even have all the tape on these prospects yet for 2025. We don't have testing. All that stuff matters. The pre-draft process matters, in my opinion. I know a lot of folks want to say uh, it should be all tape. It's not. What you see in all-star games, what you see throughout the combine and pro day sessions, to me, that stuff does matter. It absolutely does. And so it will have an impact. And I'm going to continue to watch more and more tape on all these players. I haven't watched every single game of every one of these prospects yet. So there will be, and I won't be able to watch every single game of every single prospect. There's just not enough time in the day. So there will be movement here. It's only December 12th. The draft is still like, what, 5 months away, something like that. Having said all that, I'm excited to get into 20 through 11 here. We're going to kick it off with number 20 overall on my board, and that is cornerback Azareye'h Thomas out of Florida State. The reason he is at number 20 and not higher is because I don't see the long speed tested all that often. I would like to see that a little bit more. I think he's fluid at his size. He's 6'2", 200 pounds, has great length. He's very strong, very physical at the line of scrimmage and press coverage. I think at that size, with that length and physicality, he has fluid feet, fluid hips, quick feet. I think his change of direction is strong enough again for the style of play that he's going to bring. I think you ideally want him in a press man scheme. I don't think you're utilizing his skill set to the best of its ability if you're playing a ton of off coverage. I think you want him on the line of scrimmage, making it difficult for receivers to get off the line and just kind of disrupting timing of the offense and the passing attack. And he's physical against the run. He comes downhill. He will miss some tackles, but he's one of those guys that comes downhill so hard, you'll take the good with the bad there. I think that Azareye'h Thomas in a press man scheme should be an early starter. And I also think he has Pro Bowl potential in a press man scheme. I really do. Now at 19, we have got Emeka Ibuka, wide receiver out of Ohio State. I do think he can play some Z for you. I don't think he's an X receiver at the NFL level. He's about 6'1", a little over 200 pounds, right? So I think the majority of his reps in the NFL are probably going to be best utilized in the slot or as a move Z, someone who you can line up at Z, move around the formation, like thinking about the way a Sean McVay could utilize him and utilize his ability to destroy leverage. He's a physical route runner. He has great balance and body control, tremendous hands, focus. Like whether you're talking about in easy catch situations where you want to be able to catch the football and quickly become a runner, he's got that down pat. And then also contested catch situations, high leverage moments, he has the body control and focus to go up and get the football. 6'1", 205, doesn't have great size, doesn't have great athleticism, but he's strong and he gets the job done at an extremely high level. I think he's going to be a really good starting receiver for a long time. Probably ideally a 1B in a super strong passing offense. Like if he's your second best receiver, or if you have him paired up with someone of a similar skill level, not the same type of skill, but like if you have him paired up with an X receiver in your passing offense who's a really good starting X receiver, I think you could be really cooking with gas because he's going to be a quarterback's best friend the way he is able to create separation early and throughout routes with his route running. And then again, his skills at the catch point. So I think Emeka Ibuka at 19 overall, that's a type of player that if you need a receiver, as long as you're not looking for that true X, I think Ibuka is a really attractive candidate for that role for you. At 18, I have defensive end edge Michael Williams out of Georgia. He's an interesting foil for me because you check out the tape this year, and he did deal with the ankle injury throughout the season. He's extremely raw as a pass rusher, but he has all the length, strength, athleticism that you could ask for as a big defensive end. About 6'6", 265 pounds with I think 35 plus inch arms. Michael Williams, he's going to be a really good run defender from the jump. It's about developing that pass rush. So in there's similarities to him and Trayvon Walker coming out of Georgia, but I think Trayvon was a little bit more fluid of an athlete. Williams might be a little bit more twitchy. Very good prospect. For me, though, a long way to go become that dominant pass rusher that you want when you take someone in the first round. At 17 overall, I have offensive guard Tyler Booker. And all these prospects we've talked about so far, they have second round grades. Booker is the same. Booker is not an elite athlete, but he doesn't need to be because he's like 350 pounds, right? Tyler Booker, he is a mauler at the point of attack, an absolute mauler at the point of attack. He is 6'5", 352 pounds. He gets out of his stance quickly. I think he has enough bend and flexibility at his size to be able to hold up against some of the most dominant interior rushers that try to get up under your pads and stuff. And then in the run game, he's just going to move people. So I think he's going to be able to pass protect with a strong anchor, good hand usage. He's a team captain at Alabama. And I've just got to pull up some quotes here from him last night talking on Alabama football has a podcast called the New Wave Podcast. And he talked about how it was such an honor to be a captain and he's never going to ask anyone to do anything that he's not going to do. So I think he has the right mindset there from a leadership standpoint. But he said, I'm finna hit this dude in the mouth for 60 minutes till he taps out. And he also said, it's either I eat or you eat, and I'll be damned if I go hungry on that field. And it's not just words with him. You see it on tape. He is a mauler. He is so physical. He wants to beat you up. And again, he's not an elite athlete. So that's why he's a second round grade for me. But if you just want somebody who can dominate at the point of attack and someone who can protect your quarterback at guard, I think that's Tyler Booker all day. Is he going to be the best getting out in space? No. Is he going to be the best puller? No. He's not an elite athlete. But again, at the point of attack, both in the run game and pass protection, this is the type of guy you want. The next three prospects are all right on the border for me of maybe being first round guys, and they're all defensive linemen, interior defensive linemen. Tyleik Williams is up next. I just love the blend of athleticism and size he has. He's playing at over 327, but he's also played a lot lighter than that. So I don't know what his ideal role is going to be at the next level. I think he has the ability to play like one tech for you and anchor. I honestly think, though, looking at his athleticism and his flexibility and his ability to disengage from blocks really quickly with his hands, just knowing where to strike and having those heavy hands, I might like him to drop some weight and really be a three tech. But either way, I think there's some balance. There's definitely more upside to his game, more consistency you can find. I think, again, trying to figure out what role you want him in more often than not. Getting him comfortable in that role, and then maybe you continue to expand because he has the ability to do a lot up front for you against the run and the pass. At 15, I have Walter Nolan. And outside of Mason Graham, I think Walter Nolan has and maybe even more so than Mason Graham, his potential to be just an insanely disruptive three tech. Because Mason Graham, he's super balanced. He's going to be a disruptor against the run and the pass, but he's also extremely stout. That's why he's all the way up as a blue chip prospect for me. But Walter Nolan, he's a rare athlete at his size. And, he's not one of these like 290 pound three techs. He's over 300 pounds. I think he's 305 pounds, 6'3". He can continue to improve in some areas of his game. His pad level is sometimes inconsistent, but he can absolutely explode off the ball. And he's already starting to really stack some nice pass rush moves together. He's got an arsenal. He gets a lot of extra attention. Watching him against LSU this morning, I mean, they were constantly either double teaming him or chipping him with a running back or having a tight end pull into the middle of the line of scrimmage and try to chip him. They were giving him so much extra attention. I think his presence has really helped Princely Umanmielen and JJ Pegues, and Jared Ivey. He's a force multiplier, and I think that the sky is the limit for him as a three technique. It's just you want a little bit more consistency. And again, everybody who's ahead of him on my board, great football players, at least in my opinion. At number 14, we have a player whose role at the NFL level, depending on who you talk to, depending on your mindset, your philosophy, might not be as important as a Walter Nolan or a Tyleik Williams necessarily, but that's Kenneth Grant, the defensive lineman from Michigan, who he really is a nose tackle. He's a one tech. But at 340 pounds, he has some insane flexibility and athleticism and some pass rush juice. I think you're going to want to use him as a gap eater, someone to take on double teams, because it's in this NFL world where there's so much too high shells and there's light boxes. If you can have guys that can dominate the line of scrimmage, dominate the point of attack, that's going to help you if you have a lighter box against the run. And Kenneth Grant can absolutely do that. So in this NFL meta, in this NFL world we're in, Kenneth Grant at nose tackle, maybe that is just as valuable as a penetrating three tech, because not only is he giving you that nose tackle run stopping ability, again, the flexibility, the hands, the athleticism, he can help you on pass rushing downs as well. So big fan of Kenneth Grant. And I think traditionally you look at a Walter Nolan as a three tech, maybe more valuable because he's more of a pass rusher, and maybe he is more valuable. But Kenneth Grant is such a stud in what he does at Michigan. At number 13, pretty much in that same range for me, is another defensive lineman, but he's an edge. Nick Scorton out of Texas A&M by way of Purdue. He is a behemoth, absolute monster out there who has crazy explosiveness at his size. He's playing at over 280 this year. I think he should easily drop back down into the 270 range, and he'll have length, he'll have explosiveness. He's got weird flexibility at his size as well, weird bend. He has an arsenal of pass rush moves. He's going to be able to dominate against the run, set the edge, and also get after the quarterback in a big way. Nasty spin move. He's a freak show. He really is. And I've heard, some folks talk about maybe the NFL isn't as high on him. I don't know why that would be the case, because Scorton is as freaky as they come. Again, his size combined with his athleticism, bend and pass rush plan and pass rush arsenal. Good luck. Good luck stopping that. At number 12, we have tight end Colston Loveland out of Michigan, and really, he's a receiver. He's not an inline tight end. He's not a guy that you want to utilize as a blocker all that often, but as someone who can create mismatches because of his size and athleticism and actual polish as a receiver, he's gonna make an NFL offense really happy wherever he lands, as long as they're not trying to utilize him as like a traditional Y tight end. If they're trying to use him as that move tight end who can create mismatches, because he's got great length and athletic ability. So you try to put a lot of safeties on him, they're not going to be able to keep up with him from an athleticism and route running and length standpoint. You try to put linebackers on him, they're not going to be able to keep up athletically. You try to put a nickel on him, they're not going to be big enough to hang with Colston Loveland. So I just think he's going to be one of those move tight ends at the next level that is an immediate producer at 6'5" and 245 pounds. He comes from the Michigan offense, so even though he's not like a super strong physical blocker, he will give it his all. Coming from that Michigan program, he's going to be a special player. I really think that if he lands with like a Sean McVay, and I know I've mentioned him a couple times, but I think that McVay utilizing a Colston Loveland skill set, somebody that has the type of offensive mind like a Sean McVay, which there aren't many folks out there, but if he lands with a good offense, it's going to be fireworks really early on. Super strong at the catch point, great catch radius, and again, just some surprising nimbleness at his size and overall athleticism. And then at number 11, This is the only player we're talking about today that has a true first round grade for me at this point. And again, the grades are fluid. So, not finalized at all. These rankings are not finalized. It's just where I'm at right now in the process talking about these guys. It's wide receiver Luther Burden. The more, and I watched him a ton over summer, and I've watched him a lot this year. And I say it over and over again. Missouri's offense, Missouri's coaching, what they did to Luther Burden this year was a travesty. And it goes back to his freshman year. Like, they've never given him a real route tree. They've never given him a real opportunity to show that he can be this dominant down the field receiver, which I think he absolutely can with his physical skill set. His freshman year, he was basically a running back, honestly. Like a guy who you would hand the football to, you would give him the football on screens. They did a little bit better job last year, I thought. And then you see flashes here and there this year, but consistent hands at the catch point. Absolutely. And like the explosiveness to go up and get the football in traffic at the it's special there. I think at like about 6 feet and 205 to 210 pounds, he's got great lower half strength and power, which leads to a lot of the explosiveness. I think he has good length at his size to be able to go up and get the football as well. I just don't think there's going to be much he can't do for you at the NFL level. He's not ever going to be, a 6'3" guy, but I think he might run in the 4.3s, certainly the low 4.4s, and probably jump 40 inches. That combined with his fluidity as a mover, his catch point skills, I think he's going to be a wide receiver one. I just think Missouri really badly misutilized him. And I honestly think if he was in a better offense, a different offense with a better quarterback, we wouldn't be talking about him as a fringe top 10 guy. We'd be talking about him a whole lot higher than that. But that's the way it goes sometimes. And that will do it for my big board 20 through 11 right now. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. Love interacting with y'all on the channel. Really appreciate the community. Really appreciate everyone supporting what we're doing here. And if you want to support further, you can obviously like and subscribe. Y'all have a good one.